Is this thing on? Hello? Good evening. You're here with Dr. George B. Clooney III, coming to you live from Texarkana, Missouri. I have been away from the mic for a long time, but in the intervening years, many an interloper has entered the space of talking, and let me just say, it offends me. I am offended. I leave the space of talking on the internet, and suddenly everybody and their mom wants to think that they are on the internet. And I just can't stand it, to be completely honest with you. I cannot stand it. I finally was able to resolve some situation about a tragic lightning struck a building in Arkansas, or Nevada rather, and burned the whole thing down. It was horrible and awful, and I'm lucky I just made it out of there alive. Anyway, we're here with our guest this evening, Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Well, I know you've recently been talking to members of the Trump administration. I just wanted to ask you, is it true that you're the devil?
My lawyer has advised me not to answer that question.
Ghislaine, let me just tell you, I don't know if that's the same lawyer that I had, but that's a good statement. Ghislaine, cut the bullshit. We know why we're here. You were involved with fucking torturing children, Ghislaine, for the sexual gratification of the fucked up individuals who control the coupon distribution at Sam's Club. I need you to tell me right now, is it true that President Trump is on the Epstein files? I need to know the truth.
You know, I'm going to wait till we get his name removed from the list before I answer that question.
Well, that seems like a fair response. Anyway, Ghislaine, now for a little bit lighter color commentary, not to start off the interview with a gotcha or anything like that. I was watching the news the other day, and Hillary Clinton was on television. Is she a better liar than you? How would you compare her ability to lie to yours, Ghislaine?
I've never told a lie in my life.
You're really good. That was one of your best ones. Anyway, you know, you're a big guest. Everybody wanted to get you. I know Anderson Cooper wanted to have you on. Monica Lewinsky wanted to have you on her podcast. And the goal of me having you here is to just get your pulse on current events. Do you have a take on the current conflict between Israel and Alabama?
You know, I would actually really love to answer that question, but I think that my friend Jeffrey is much more interesting.
Jeffrey Fogel from Subway? You know every pedophile named Jeffrey.
No, I mean my friend, my associate, my fellow child sex, I mean Jeffrey Epstein. I actually brought a Ouija board so we could talk to him and clarify some major misunderstandings about his name.
Well, Ghislaine, you know, since I became a vegan, I've sworn off the Ouija boards because I'm constantly reminded of my credit score. But you are a special guest. I'd be willing today to break my oath with the church and with the Buddha. And we can rev this up. You know, we can rev up the Ouija board. So, okay, I'm putting my hand on the board.
The Ouija board? Oh, fuck, wait.
There's a reboot. Give me a second. I got to put in the IRS code.
Whoa! Who summons me?
Is that Jeffrey Epstein?
Of course! Jeffrey Epstein, the world's best-known philanthropist.
I thought you were in hell. Well, I guess you are. Tell me this.
I am now.
Jeffrey, let's cut the shit, okay? So, were those children or were they... Who were they, Jeffrey? Were they all Americans?
You know, we don't discriminate on Little St. James Island. There were people of all races, of all creeds.
I only saw white girls, Jeffrey.
We don't see color on Little St. James
Well,
Island.
that's very progressive of you. I guess my main concern, Jeffrey, is Donald Trump, his election chances might get hurt. You're in the news right now. You did Trump a major disservice by inviting him to all those fucking parties.
Donald's a nice guy. That's all I can say. You know, he likes him young. He enjoys his social life. Just let me be clear, folks. Just because you are on the Epstein files doesn't mean that you are a pedophile.
Oh, well, that's great. Well,
But speaking of names on the list, George Clooney has popped up at least 13 times.
well, that's why I'm so glad I stole this character's name. But I'm most happy, Jeffrey, to consider your eternal torture by Satan.
Listen, hell is really not that bad, quite frankly. I'm actually having dinner with Ruth Bader Ginsburg tonight.
Oh, really?
And yeah, she's actually she's got these really cute horns down there. But you know, the devil herself, you know, she's really not that bad. She was actually even almost elected president in 2016.
Secretary Clinton is still with us.
You know, she has she makes her rounds.
Jeffrey, one thing that I never understood is why did you kill yourself?
You know, I think it's important to check up on your friends with depression, and quite frankly, nobody was available at the time.
Jeffrey, you had so much to live for.
I know, and apparently, there was no evidence against me. So I mean, I really made a reckless decision.
I will say you chose a pretty smart way. From what I understand, you just kind of leaned into like a rope or something.
Yeah,
that seems a lot more comfortable than like a fucking hanging from the ceiling or some shit like that.
It really was. You know, I was on finasteride at the time, and you know, one of the side effects is depression, and
You were losing your hair, Jeffrey.
I was losing my hair, was losing my life, and ultimately, I think that I made the incorrect decision, but I'm happy in the place I am now, which is the pits of hell.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We've actually constructed an award for you. It is a plaque. Here you are in the form of the Twin Towers to recognize a horrible, soul-shattering tragedy that goes completely unpunished.
You know, thank you for, you know, I get credit for a lot of the sex trafficking. I don't get enough credit for that one.
Well, you're right.
Even though I was directly...
We both know the evil government that was in control of all of those events, France. Speaking of that, is Bridget Macron a fucking woman?
He is a woman, yes.
I always thought he was a woman. I'll tell you, he's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
Speaking of, how was...
And his wife is wonderful as well.
Yes, that's exactly right. You know, I guess I haven't seen you since, you know, your mishap in Arkansas involving, you know, the alleged something.
It was horrible because the proton machine transported us from Nevada to Arkansas. But right before that happened, there was a gunman in the studio, and the police have still been unable to determine who that was. And I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of it.
Exactly. But guess that was the last time I saw you. Who did you vote for in this last previous election? I guess this was before Trump was implicated with me, and
I voted for Betty White.
It's really progressive.
It was very progressive of me, but she is a white racist piece of shit. I had to keep that in mind. Anyway, Jeffrey, we're running out of time. I'm told that you have a 7,000-year burning in excrement appointment later today for the torture of innocent children. I'd hate to keep you from that.
Thank you, George. Pleasure being here.
Thank you for being here. We'll book you next week. This is George Clooney. We're technically doing a new voice memo, but we have the ability to splice because we know how to do technology. So for those of you who are just listening, it's going to be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because it's going to be one video for y'all retards, but for us, it's technically two different voice memos. But that is not the important fact here. The important fact here is I'm here with a special guest. And you're going to know who the guest is based on my fucking question to the guest. Because you are an American citizen who loves Jesus Christ and who understands the issues that matter to America. Let me outline this for you. My name is George Clooney. I'm a country music star. I'm not the fucking faggot George Clooney who's in Hollywood. I'm the real George Clooney. I'm the George Clooney, and he's not. He's actually cool. I don't mean to disparage him in that way. The point is, I'm fucking George Clooney because I'm me. And the point is, we have an important question that's going to determine the fate of every single goddamn American in this country. And the question is this. Is it acceptable for American citizens to say, we do not want any more immigrants to participate in the country music awards in this country? And the question we're going to ask is to someone who's been on CNN for many years, someone who has a lot of diverse CNN experience. And the question is essentially, since we had Jeffrey Epstein last time, the question is to this individual, does America have control over America? Is it Israel that has control? Is it American billionaires? Is it NATO? Is it Japan? There's a lot of ways you could go with this. But let's get to the goddamn brass tacks of this, okay? And it's this. I listened to the goddamn music on the radio the other day. It's George Clooney. And it's all sad. I don't hear a single goddamn white country music star or anybody who's expressing a positive emotion in the world. And as George Clooney, I listen to music all the time. I know a lot about music. The point is that, can we get a goddamn happy song like goddamn Van Halen or something? And we've been doing a lot of research, and we've consulted a professor who we want to ask, a professor of music and the law primarily. We have today Alan Dershowitz is about to speak on the podcast. And our question is, Alan, you have a lot of, experience with the law. You know how to say, this is illegal, this is not illegal. Here's my complicated reason that I can think of quickly that other people can't understand, but that somehow convinces people. The question is just, Alan, we have all these rap music that talks about fucking bitches and, shooting people and shit like that. And I think about the shit that white little kids listen to. Alan Dershowitz, tell me this. As a Jewish American who participates in the society of people who get married and send their kids to college and participate in education, Alan Dershowitz, do you think that the black youth of this country, and the white youth of this country should be listening to rap music, Alan Dershowitz? For example, Alan, wouldn't you tell your kids they should listen to Beethoven and go to school? Or do you think there's something about rap music, Alan Dershowitz, that justifies Israel's genocide in Gaza?
Well, oy vey, I really appreciate that sentiment, but honestly, quite frankly, I think everybody is entitled to listen to the same music that everybody else is listening to. But at the end of the day, rap music is specifically designed to interrupt the Jewish eardrums and make them behave in a way that is particularly violent. So at the end of the day, I don't really feel like Jewish people are responsible for the fact that black people are behaving violently.
Well, I never said that the goddamn Jews... we're going to cut that out, don't worry. I never meant to say that Jewish producers were influencing the musical experience that black people have in this country. I never meant to imply that Jewish people are making money off of making black people kill each other or anything like that. All I meant to say is that Jewish people are just like Christian people, and it's not their fault that some of them are lazy, but also super fucking smart, so they do rap music. That's not the point that I'm trying to say. Alan Dershowitz, we have another character we're getting to shortly, Alan, and by character I mean guest on this goddamn podcast, Alan. But Alan, I wanted one more legal question. Alan, so I accidentally bumped my car into an obese elderly woman's left leg, and unfortunately it severed her leg in the Costco parking lot, and she bled to death. But I was listening to the Muppets on CD with Hillary Clinton as a guest specialist. Tell me this, since Hillary Clinton was a guest specialist on the episode of the the fucking Elmo I was watching, and I accidentally knocked that old lady's leg off. She was a fucking hick, but that doesn't matter. She was from Arkansas. I accidentally knocked her leg off in the Costco parking lot. But Hillary Clinton, Alan, was a guest on the podcast I was listening to. Surely it was an accident. You know, surely Hillary Clinton's presence on that podcast. Because I remember what Hillary said. Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights. So it wasn't my fault. It was an accident. She was on the podcast. Alan, we have another guest. You have to just give me a 1 or 2 answer response. But Alan, surely it was an accident that woman passed away in the parking lot of Costco because I hit her with a car. It was an accident. Hillary was on the podcast.
You know, according to the state of Alabama, it seems like it was an accident.
Alan, that is why you are worth $17 billion. Anyway, not to hold up the conversation, one thing I've really been wondering about is how the fuck do I get to have sex with college-aged, sexually attractive individuals? That's the real question I think most people who are honest have in their life. And the question I want to direct that to is none other than the one and only Donald Trump. If you get to be the president of the goddamn United States and you get to beat all these fucking retarded idiots, and first of all, it's your parents, Donald. Let's be honest. I run a podcast. I accidentally shot some people with an AR-15 in here. There was a lightning that struck the building. It was terrible. A lot of people passed away. We're not here to talk about my life experiences. I was a victim in that situation. But we're here to talk about Donald Trump grew up. His parents gave him a lot of psychological stability. That's not the point. Donald, if I'm here to go to the University of Arkansas and have sex with the hottest college freshman that I can find and also represent myself as a religiously pious Christian American, Donald, what do I need to do? You made it to the presidency. You bombed Iran. You fucking dropped a big old fucking nuke on those goddamn Muslims. I mean, on the terrorists, of course. How do I represent myself as somebody who deserves to sleep with the hottest college girl at Arkansas, Donald Trump, our president?
You know, quite frankly, you were very nice, and I like you, George. But, ultimately, at the end of the day, I would say that it was very unfair, and everybody knows it. We all know it. You would have to find a friend that is of the same age demographic. You know, quite frankly, you know, we all are very good people. You know, nobody wants anybody to get in any trouble. But I would say that whether or not you had sex with people on my on Epstein's Island, whether they were 18 or 17, totally legal, quite frankly. But we'll have to play it by state.
It's just like the most.
Well, Donald, I mean, you are the president, so I'm going to go ahead and fuck some 18-year-olds who love my body. Anyway, the point I have as George Clooney is that I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I think that it's very important to talk to somebody who does exist, somebody who knows that they exist, somebody who has a sense of what they're going to say. This person is an Italian. This person has just recently been elected to the head of a religious grouping. This person was in the American society. They kind of sound like maybe like Giuliani would sound, like an Italian American. But they have just been elected to the highest position in kind of the goddamn world. And that's Pope. That's Pope of the goddamn world. And the Pope of the goddamn world is a pedophile right now, but we shouldn't bring that up. We can go ahead and strike that comment. Actually, I don't know that to be true. That's more of just a slight against the Catholic Church. But we can go ahead and omit that comment from the previous commentary. And really, there's no reason to believe that's true at all, except for common sense. But other than that, we just want to say we're here to welcome our new Pope, Pope Leo. And we want to understand that this was meant to be comedic, and we don't know anything about Pope Leo himself, but we do want to try to be funny. Anyway, here's Pope Leo, who's here, And the question we have for Pope Leo is, should I really do an index fund or should I look more into real estate?
I would really not be familiar with that situation, but I would very confused with your opposition toward the Catholic Church. It really hurts my feelings, and we actually gave you, George Clooney, we gave you a very, very specific, we give, pause it. What is it called? We were very adamant and we were very sympathetic to you about giving you an indulgence for very multiple felonies. I do not understand why you do not defend us or even appreciate our behavior toward you.
Well, Pope Clement, my thought has always been that I want the Lord Jesus to not send me to be raped by the devil for eternity. That's always been my main goal. How can I avoid getting tortured and fucking raped by the devil, as Norm Macdonald used to say, raped by the devil for eternity, Lord Clement, Jesus Christ of earth, Catholic Pope. I've always tried to do my very best to avoid being punished by the devil for all eternity. So you tell me you have an indulgence. I know you told me to kill. I know you told me to burn those candles and pay the $1 to burn the candles at church. What is it that you want me to do, George Jesus Christ of America and the Pope Leo? What is it you need me to do to forgive the fact that to forgive the fact that I forgot to pay my parking ticket?
George, we would just simply like you to admit that the fact that you were involved in the 2015 involvement of the 250 studio murder of everybody that was involved in the Barnes & Noble parking lot, of everything that was involved with you. And also in the fact that we would like you to profess a specific faith in the fact that you have not been registered to vote since 1970s. And you purport to be a proponent of Trump or Joe Biden or whoever is most important. But we are trying to get a decent understanding of your soul and where that purports to be going when you pass away.
Well, Pope Leo, I understand that you, as the Pope, know that you're going to hell, but it's still nice of you to tell an American citizen that it's important to think about what God might think about them. And I understand that. And I think that, yeah, it's true that unfortunately, under my studio watch, a lot of people passed away in the desert of Nevada. And we're still trying to figure out what exactly happened in that scenario. But Pope, I get it. I get it, Pope. I've given away nicotine. I've turned to caffeine. And I'm really attempting to say that, Jesus, please just tell me who I need to kill. It'd be so much easier. It'd be so much easier to discharge all my negative emotion in that sort of maneuver. But I know Jesus doesn't act like that. Jesus really wants me to attempt to exercise self-control. So I guess I am going to hell. But the point is, Pope Leo, what about the Jews, Pope Leo? Here you are at the Catholic Church, and you won't talk about the goddamn Jeffrey Epstein Israel situation. Since you can talk to demons, will you just go ahead and let me talk to Jeffrey Epstein again?
I will do my best to summon Jeffrey Epstein, but I believe that he had consolidated things with you. I will do my best of my ability.
Jeffrey, Pope Leo just told me that as the Pope, he has the capacity to communicate with any demon that he wants, as he himself is a demon. And the point is, Jeffrey, since you're back here, the point is, Jeffrey Epstein, I want you to say you're sorry. You hurt all those people, Jeffrey. Tell me that you accept, even as a Jew, you accept the Lord Jesus Christ. You can go to heaven, Jeffrey.
You know, quite frankly, as a Jew, that is against my religion, and I quite frankly find this entire conversation anti-Semitic.
Well, Jeffrey, you know that calling me an anti-Semite means I'm not allowed to talk anymore. So my point is just, Jeffrey, we have to be respectful, Jeffrey, of Jesus and of the Anti-Defamation League equally.
But George, in my religion, I don't believe that Christ is returned. You know,
Well,
I
Jeffrey,
believe,
that's why you're going to hell.
not because of the sexual stuff. Thank God. Thank you. Thank God I was prosecuted in New York.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Is Jeffrey Epstein in there?
No. Thank you so much.
Hey, have a good night. Thank you very much.
You had a good sense of humor. But did
That's
you
why
see
we
Jeffrey
believe
in there?
Jesus.
Jeffrey was leaving.
Jesus is the person who makes us believe in the power of goodness. And you're telling me you still support the devil, Jeffrey?
Your Honor, I do not support the devil. All I'm saying is that the devil promised that he would be a defendant in my situation. and he has not presented himself thus far.
Well, that's because the devil has a very busy docket. He's representing many clients right now.
Your Honor, that's why I'm requesting a different status conference.
Well, the devil has many clients like Hillary Clinton and Saddam Hussein. You should know this better than anybody. The devil has to represent goddamn Marco Rubio.
That's Your Honor, I have not been able to accurately talk with my clients, Mr. Donald Trump and
Jeffrey,
Mr.
cut the shit, Jeffrey. You did not convert to Christianity while you were alive. You're going to hell.
Your Honor, we're going to have to call a concession on this stand right now.
All right, whatever. Anyway, I just want to say, please call My Pillow at 2-800-944. We have a special deal.
This is not authorized by this company.
Good afternoon. This is Cornwall Manfred Weathersby III, Lord Esquire of the Duchess of Excelsior. You are here today at my talk to discuss my new book, How to Read Literature Like a Terrorist. And what we are trying to do is to determine the extent to which children in the United States are reading at a grade level average. And the concern is that they are falling behind the rest of the world. Oh, I'm hearing something.
Police!
Oh, hello? Hello, this is Richard Weathersby. What seems to be the problem?
We're looking for Mr. George Clooney.
George Clooney. The actor?
Yeah? No, sir, another gentleman who goes by the same name.
George Clooney, how queer. George Clooney. Well, he doesn't live here. I'm wondering... let me take a note. I will keep my eyes peeled for you, officer.
Thank you, sir. Please give us any information that you have about Mr. George Clooney.
Well, I know that he starred in the movie Pink... Oh, not that one. Another George Clooney. Well, I'm afraid I don't really know. But, officer, since you're here, can I interest you in my new book, How to Read Literature Like a Terrorist?
Let me see the book, actually. How to Read Literature Like a Professor. You have one page written.
Well,
And it says, by George Clooney. Get under the ground, sir. Get under the ground.
That's pretty funny.
Get down, get down,
unhand me.
sir,
Unhand me.
sir, get down. We don't want to hurt you, sir.
It was a gift. It was a gift from the actor George Clooney. It was. That's not me. It says George Clooney in the book because the actor signed the book, you elf. Unhand me.
George Clooney, okay. It's not you, okay.
I'm going to have to call the Smart White Lives Matter movement.
Okay. We will leave, sir. Please give us any information you have about a George Clooney, who is not the actor, George Clooney. I repeat, not the actor.
Well, his surname hails from the 4th Preshire of Wiltshire. From that information, you probably know...
Sir, I think there's a woman who just got into a car accident. We've been ignoring it over this for the last 30 minutes. I think that this is not as precedent.
I must say...
We're going to have to leave.
Great decision, officer. I'll see you later. Oh, thank God. What the fuck just happened there? I'm glad I was, getting in my alter ego. I have this side hustle. I'm trying to get my PhD in quantum accounting, but the concern is just that due to a number of factors, I haven't really been able to yet obtain that educational credential. But anyway, for our listeners who are here, How to Read Literature Like a Professor is a great book. How to Read Literature Like a Terrorist is a phenomenal sequel. If I were you, I would pick that book up at the store immediately. But the point of this communication today is really just look at the news, look at what's going on in the world, just kind of catch up as the podcasters do in the podcasting world. I'm actually here today with a very special guest who kind of has my dream job. He's a bit of a star. I'm a little jealous, but it's a real professional and personal pleasure to be able to talk to the one and only Tucker Carlson. He dominated the Fox News space for many years, basically the best to ever do it. We're going to determine whether or not he is a racist today and a couple of other different questions. But Tucker, great to have you here. What was it like when your dad was in the CIA running Voice of America? And are you a spook? Are you lying to the Fox News folks? And what is your perspective on global warming?
Thank you so much, George, for having me on the podcast. I'm a little bit confused in the sense that you kind of threw me a little bit of a curveball and asking me 3 different questions and 1 accusation. First of all, my father's involvement in the CIA is something that I cannot speak to. Second of all, in terms of global warming, I certainly believe that it is occurring. Whether it's involved with or directly related to human involvement is something that I'm happy to get into. I can't really do it in an introduction of myself. George, I'm a little bit offended. I'm Tucker Carlson, folks. I'm happy to be here. And, I'm going to throw it back to George, but geez Louise, I don't even know where to begin, my friend.
Well, that's okay, Tucker. That's why we do tend to leave it to the professionals in entertainment. My main concern, having you here, Tucker, is there's so many things going on in the world. Recently, France has said they were going to recognize Palestine. The UK has just decided they're going to recognize Palestine. And my main thought is the Palestinian people, are they really like a country, or are they more like a really bad neighborhood that the city should just tear down?
Mr. Clooney, if that is your birth name, the name you go by, I believe that all people are people, and I think it is in not only the United States but the world's best interest to resolve this situation amicably.
I would agree with that. If you're immediately, if a heavy ordinance immediately were to fall onto your abode and incinerate instantaneously the block neighborhood where you live, couldn't that be considered an amicable resolution insofar as nobody was hurt or nobody felt any pain?
No.
No? Well, Tucker, are you an anti-Semite?
No.
Well, those two things seem to be contradictory to me. Tucker, my main thought is that the situation in Gaza, a lot of people have been talking about it. I don't understand. Obviously, it seems like people are starving over there. You got the kids look like they've been on Ozempic for too long, or they're about to star in a movie or something. But I'm just thinking, how should I feel about the Gaza situation, Tucker, the Palestine situation? Because Israel says that there are a bunch of dirty terrorists who keep bombing them, and they did. Obviously, they did. That's a real phenomenon. But then other people want to say that a lot of bombs have been showing up, maybe people getting killed. So it's like, can't everybody just get along?
That would be ideal, George. But in terms of the way that the foreign affairs go today, George, I'm a little bit confused. I mean, I was invited here. You told me that we were just having coffee, and then I walk in here and I'm mic'd up, and then I'm in the back of a Barnes and Noble in the bathroom. Somebody's banging on the door. We don't.
We're in a studio,
right?
A mobile studio.
With the gun pressed on my temple, I will say, what does it say? Yes, we are in a studio. Yes. Okay. And I'm just a little bit confused. I wouldn't have agreed to do this interview if I knew that it was going to be so, preemptively attacking me. And this kind of feels like an ambush. I thought that we were friends. We've known each other for a decent amount of time. I know that you've had some clout since 2014. You've been running longer since Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and all these people.
I appreciate
and,
that. Thank you.
I quite frankly, with all due respect, sir, I have no idea what this interview is, and I'm very confused.
Well, Tucker, it's very nice of you to say that you would not have arrived had you known what it was going to be. Thank you for telling me that. That lets us know we made the right decision. And my, why are you here? Well, I mean, you're a star. It's good to get people on the podcast so people listen. Why aren't you? I mean, I know Fox News kicked you off. I know they won't let you be on TV because of your contract, but our podcast pretty shitty. For me, I like a podcast. But you're Tucker Carlson. You're good on TV. You're good on. I think Tucker Carlson and you need to get back on the television and reading the monologues and doing the news. And don't you think you helped America more doing that? I mean, now you got who? You got Laura Ingraham. She's okay. Sean Hannity, annoying. You got Jesse Waters, slow. You got Jeffrey Epstein, rude. you got Greg Gutfeld, obnoxious. I mean, you got so many different people. Greg Gutfeld's kind of funny, but he's not that funny. Tucker, shouldn't you get back on Fox News? Don't we? Doesn't America need you to be on television?
George, I would love to be back on television. Unfortunately, Murdoch fired me around 2018. Not because I was doing a bad job per se, but because podcasts have become way more ubiquitous, and that's how people get their news and information now. And, to be totally honest with you, George, podcasts in 2014 were not a thing when you had first started. So not to, stoke a fire here, but I blame people like you and Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens for putting me out of business. I would love to be on television, but nobody watches it anymore. They get their news from people like you.
Well, that does make me feel nice and warm and fuzzy inside. I
didn't intend it that way, George.
That makes me feel even warmer. I just wanted to think about what you've just said, and you said that you would not have been fired but for my spectacular success. And as sad as that I am to consider that, it does make me happy. Anyway, I want to just think that you could be good on TV. I know podcasts are taking off. Aren't most guests boring as fuck, Tucker? Don't you have most people on your podcast and you're like, God damn it, this sucks. Like, I know you want to be interested in people, but you're Tucker Carlson. You get to talk to Putin. You get to talk to Monica Lewinsky. You get to talk to Jeffrey Epstein. You get to talk to Jesus Christ our Lord. You get to talk to President Trump. When you get some, like, fucking granny from Wisconsin who's on about the tunnels underground, don't you just think, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? I can't be entertained with this. I mean, Tucker, really, I want you to tell me, how is it that you're able to pretend to be interested in really annoying fucking podcast guests, and also that you are able to kind of steer a conversation and ask a question so as to generate the answer that you want? You have a lot of skills, Tucker, and I'm trying to up my podcast game from talking to you. I've asked 13 and a half questions, and I'll be upset if you don't answer them all.
I'm sorry, George. Wait, what was your first question?
Do you prefer cold brew or warm brew coffee?
I didn't hear that the first time. You know what, George? I am. My attorney is texting me right now saying maybe it's not my best interest to be in this interview. Do you intend to air this live? Where is this going to air? I really don't understand because I'm getting a text from your last few guests saying that this is only existing in your voice memos on the iPhone.
Well, that is a vicious rumor. That is a vicious rumor, and there's no truth to that. I did not confine that voice memo to the iPhone, not a single time, Tucker. And this is in the worldwide news. You said yourself, Tucker, based on what you've already said, that I am a real world figure. You got fired because you're saying you got fired from Fox News because of my voice memo?
Yes, sir. And also, just because of the charges and convictions with the state of Arkansas, I'm going to go ahead and just head out, George. It would be.
You don't need to do that. No,
George.
There's a construction team here later.
George. No,
Here, we have this for you to drink. We just put this over your mouth. It's
George, please get up! Get it off me! No!
Well, Tucker's just decided to take a nap, but we are going to continue our programming this evening. Our last two episodes were met with so much success that we've actually decided to honor the audience's request, and we're going to get Jeffrey Epstein back here for another day of conversation with the one and only Jeffrey Epstein. Except this time, he's going to be our host, and he's going to show us around some of his fun activities.
Well, thank you so much, George, for agreeing to come to my estate.
Well, I mean, thank you for inviting me, but what is there even to do there?
What is there to do there? What is there to do on Jeffrey Epstein's island?
What can you do on Epstein's island? Unspeakable things and snorkeling. Many fields to frolic, sacrifice to Moloch. Join in the temple there. Underneath my evil lair. Children won't be missed. I will plead the fifth.
Whoa! We're here. Well, here's your island, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much. Did you get an icy?
I did. I had to get an icy on the way in, and I noticed you have an icy machine here, but some of the flavors seem a little strange to me.
Sometimes the metallic-y flavor can taste a little bit bitter to newcomers.
Jeffrey, why do I have a godlike sense of excitement, but I'm terrified of what I might do next after drinking this icy?
Whoa! Did you see that girl over there? She's so pretty. She's also of age.
Oh, okay. That's kind of an interesting thing to say, Jeffrey. I will agree that girl's very pretty. Wait, who's that she's with over there? He looks kind of familiar.
Oh my God! It's the 43rd. It's the 42nd president.
Bill Clinton?
Hey.
President Clinton, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just here for the aquarium or the snorkel. What did you tell me to say? I'm just here for a foundation event.
Oh, well, that's wonderful, Bill. I didn't know you did work for charity out here in the Caribbean.
Of course, we don't discriminate. And pedophiles don't. I mean, we just love everybody.
Well, Bill, I think that's a warm sentiment for the world. Bill, one thing I always did want to ask you about is the thing you love most about Hillary her ability to lie?
I do love Hillary because she is a strong Republican candidate, and she's always honest, and she never murdered Vince Foster. That's what I love about her. That's what my lawyer told me to say.
That's pretty good, Bill. I miss Vince Foster. He had such a fun sounding name to say, Vince Foster. It's a fun kind of sound. It's kind of a fun sound to say. And he loved visiting the park.
When I hear the word Vince Foster, it makes me happy. I'm like, it hears like not guilty. It just makes me really happy.
Bill, so you're here. What is your perspective, Bill, on the situation across the party over there? Where I don't know if that looks appropriate to me, Bill. Do you think those people should all be hanging out over there?
It looks like maybe there's like a birthday party. Hey, save some fun for the rest of it. Oh no, you guys don't have to leave. That's fine. The cameras are going to shut off at 6. It's totally fine.
Bill, that's slightly concerning. Bill, I don't want to take too much of your time away at this party, but my main concern, if you're on here on a tropical island, you're pale as the devil. Won't you get a sunburn here, Bill? I mean, how do you, you're in pretty good shape. Are you working out? Are you taking some supplements? What, any sort of special supplement you're into or exercise or?
Well, my the devil. I mean, my doctor told me that as soon as I stop this vegan diet, things could be a lot worse. But as long as I keep, being healthy to the best of my ability with the devil, with the doctor, I think things can work out in my favor.
Well, Bill, perfect as always. I don't want to take too much of your time. Please go back to that. Probably can be no older than a high school sophomore. See you later.
Well, it depends on what your definition of the word high school sophomore is.
All right, Bill. It's good that there's no police on this island.
That's my intention. Thank God. Okay. All right, good night, everybody. This has been SNL.
Oh, Bill just, has a, you see why he got elected president? He's got a certain, mystifying character to his speech. Kind of just you get magnetizing. You kind of just get lost in the flow.
She's really taking off her bra.
Bill,
I'll throw in 200 for that one.
Okay, Bill. I can see why.
Wait, she's 13? Oh my God, that's way too old for me.
Bill.
Oh wait. Can we shut off the microphone?
Jeffrey, do you understand that Bill Clinton is talking about?
That's really inappropriate, Bill. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, George, and thank you so much for the audience for listening to us. George, Bill has a really funny sense of humor. You know how boomers are, right, folks? Cue laugh track, Full House, laugh track number 2.
Jeffrey, okay, so I'm glad that Bill must have just been joking around, I guess, but it seems like there's a lot of old people and a lot of young women in this event. What's going on with that, Jeffrey?
We always support children, and just because children are hanging out in sex events doesn't mean that anything illegal is happening.
I'm not sure this event. I'm not sure exactly what you said there, but we're here on the island. We've been invited. I don't want to be a bad guest.
Oh my God, Trump is on the Epstein files. Can you guys believe that? Trump is on the Epstein files.
I heard about that, Jeffrey. What happened with the president? You invited him to a bunch of parties?
To my knowledge, nothing illegal has ever been conducted on my island except with President Trump. Isn't that sick?
I cannot believe President Trump ventured to the island and committed an illegal action. What did he do? What did Trump do that was illegal?
I believe Trump ordered a $42 steak from Little St. James Steakhouse, and I think he tipped $3.
What a cheap bastard.
I know.
He's a fucking billionaire. What the fuck?
I know.
I'm not voting for that motherfucker again.
That is correct. But I do intend to run, maybe not in 2028, maybe somewhere down the line, because I've never ran and I'm also not dead.
Would you try to represent Satan's congressional district?
I believe that Mr. Lucifer, Prince of Darkness, will be my running mate.
Well, sounds like you got your campaign in order. Well, Jeffrey, it was wonderful to get to talk to you. Jeffrey, what is your position on suicide prevention in our schools for our young people?
Yeah, it's especially important to prevent suicide, especially when Hillary Clinton has access to your cell.
Oh, my God. Well, that's especially concerning after Hillary's Hillary care for children. I guess every child has to watch out now. Well, Jeffrey, it was great to meet you, and I hope that we have an opportunity to meet again after you get away from
Hell.
hell. Goodbye, Jeffrey. Anyway, we have a full show for you after the break. Stay right there. And we're back. We were just able to get off a little St. James Island with the help of the Bermudan Coast Guard. We lost a few of our producers on the way, but you know what? That's the price of great journalism. We are here today via Skype with our next guest, who is a very important figure in the public conversation today and whose opinions influence a wide variety of people. I've wanted to get this person on the podcast for years, and I'm so excited to introduce the person that we were able to book today, and that
Make it like my uncle.
we were so gracious to get today. It was not the case that it was an easy person to book. They're very, very busy, and it is extremely exciting that I can now introduce in a few moments the person that we are extremely excited to have. That person has really been an innovator in the field of communication, appearances on podcasts, and communicative possibility. Having said all that, I want to remember now to say that our next guest is someone who we've been waiting to have for years. Somebody who we're very excited to have, and someone who has really been a conversation go-getter, a conversation setter, a trend setter, if you will, a public intellectual, a polymath, a New York Times best-selling puppet, and someone who we're very excited to have on a podcast, my Uncle Manfred. Uncle Manfred?
George! Hello, where am I?
Uncle Manfred, are you okay?
Yes, George? Are we at the hospital?
Well, we rapidly are always, could be at the hospital at this point, Manfred. Uncle Manfred.
George! I have to have my dialysis. George!
Oh, Uncle Manfred, we can go to the store later, Uncle Manfred. Uncle Manfred, okay, let's pipe down. What we need to hear from you, Uncle Manfred, is your perspective on Walmart. Do you think Walmart is kind of, a little too fast and loose compared to a Target? Or is Target more of a pretentious item? And Uncle Manfred, I know you can't really leave your house or walk, but just give me your perspective on that.
George, I know that the Walmart is near the dialysis center. Please, George, can we go?
All right, we can get moving, but we'll probably end up going to Target because they got a Starbucks in there. I have to get some of that pumpkin bread. Uncle Manfred, I'll even give you a little pinch of it if you keep your act together. So if we are going to go to Target, I need to know, Uncle Manfred, do you want, would you want like an ice water or maybe like, maybe some toothpicks?
George, I just want my dialysis.
Uncle Manfred, you sound like you might be upset about something. I want to make sure that you're comfortable, you have what you need.
Israel, Palestine.
I want to make sure we discuss the Israel-Palestine issue. I want to make sure that we get to go to Applebee's later.
George, I took care of you when you were a baby, and I found you in a trash can outside of Ross. Please, just get me to dialysis.
We can't make it to Dallas on such short notice, Uncle Manfred. We can maybe plan a nice trip this summer, but you keep interrupting the podcast, Uncle Manfred. We need to know, what does the older generation, the generation that may as well be dead, what does that generation think about the Israel-Palestine issue? Are you more pro-team Jew? Or are you more
Superman.
pro-team Palestinian?
George, I'm going to go to sleep. George, please just wake me up with yours.
Uncle Manfred? Uncle Manfred? He must be taking a nap. I'll talk to him later. He's always falling asleep at the worst times. Man, he must have been... He's not really moving right now. I love how he never snores at all. You know, you never hear a peep out of him. We'll just go ahead and let him take a nap here. That looks like a very uncomfortable position for his spine to be in. Kind of slumped over. Whatever. All right.